Right?
Now it starts. All right, a Thursday night, time for our Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. And I love these spotlights where we bring on new triathletes. And we've already had a lot of fun talking with our guest tonight, Brian Wagner. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for
Awesome.
inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And this is going to be fun to hear how Brian's gotten started and really where he's going with triathlon. And so he's got some neat stories already. So I love this because it does give a really good insight in terms of getting started in the sport, which is so exciting to jump into a sport like this. So, but before I get going too far, I'm going to turn it over to Bob for the official introduction. Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Going okay, John. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Brian, I'm really excited about this because I like your first your first season was kind of it was eventful and it was cool and so for everybody who's listening tonight, Brian Wagner just joined the club and I think it was March 22, and
Yeah.
he's done 3 triathlons. His very first one was Pumpkin Man, which probably wasn't the smartest thing because you climb up you climb up that hill and you say, what the heck did I get myself into? So, but that's pretty tough. He did his first one at Pumpkin Man. Then jumped right up to an Olympic and did the Las Vegas in Olympic distance. And then he didn't have enough of the Pumpkin Man, so he did it again. So
I did have enough, but you're going to find a common theme throughout my story is I just make unsmart decisions when it comes to some of this stuff.
There was actually a group that rode together, and they were called Team Bad Decision. So you're in good company, so don't worry about that.
That's awesome.
So Brian, I'm glad and I'm excited to have you on tonight because, as John said, we really love having new folks because it's interesting to just find out what you learned and then what you still have questions on. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just to get started, I saw some cool pictures, and on your bike, you've got a training buddy, and that rides and trains with you. His name is Slim. So tell me, what's the story on Slim? What's the story here? Show everybody Slim.
Okay. Well, I did naturally I did bring him here, and I had to because anybody who's seen the videos are like, hey, it's great that you're training and it's great that you're making progress, but really what's going on with Slim? We're more interested in how Slim is doing. So among family and friends, he's a little bit more popular than I am. But no, with the friends that got me involved in this, they just had these little skeletons just on the bikes for whatever reason. And I honestly can't even remember how we got them. But the bike that they gave me to start out on had them. And so recently when I've been doing some of the training rides, exhaustion kind of sets in, delirium kind of takes over, and I just started talking to him. And I just thought it would be funny to, grab a little video of me chatting to Slim and Slim chatting back. Although I don't
and that was going to be one of my questions for you, Brian, is do you talk to him? Does he talk to you, or both? Is there a conversation going on here?
Yeah, I know. The scary thing is there's a conversation. But not going to let him speak. It's pretty foul language, but he's always just kind of, he has that one more rep kind of mentality. So he's just always
that's awesome.
A little extra oomph.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing him in action, and I'm sure other folks are going to be asking you about him too. Yeah. There's another question that I had for you that I was intrigued by. Your first race report. It was pretty succinct. It was, I didn't die. And I like that. And then, but you said, but the warm-up triathlon that we did before it, I almost did. What was the story with that one?
Okay, so I'm gonna back up just a little bit.
Sure.
Because I'm a little late to the endurance sport game. I've always been more into like maybe martial arts or weightlifting. I was told I would never actually be a marathon runner when I was younger because I have a little bit of a pulmonary sling, and the doctor said, you're never going to be able to do endurance sports. That's not going to be your cup of tea. But I would say a few jobs back, I had a group of people, and they started doing a Wagner race, and they invited me to join. It was a little team event, and so this kind of goes into that theme of just making bad decisions. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I had never run a 5K. And here I sign up for a 200-mile relay race.
Wow.
And long story short, it was fun. And so then I met some really good friends at my current employer, and we wanted to do the Las Vegas Sunset Ragnar that was here.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that's when COVID hit. So we were doing some running events. We were, we were training and everything along those lines. And then they wanted to do just their own triathlon. Just go out to Lake Mead, do a little bit of a swim, ride the bike, and just test themselves a little bit. And it was the first time I've worn a wetsuit. It was the first time I wore a swim cap, swim goggles. First time swimming in open water, and it was choppy. So yeah, again, the theme, bad decisions. So it's
a combination. That's a lot of first times.
That was, and so I made it out to the buoy, and I panicked, and I act, and I'm typically not one to get unnerved or rattled or anything, but I did panic on that time, and so I started heading back to the shore, and then my one friend, she saw that I was in trouble and concerned, and so she hauled her butt over to come save me, and had her little swim buoy and made sure that I got into water that I could touch the ground. Even she told me after the fact, she's like, you probably could have stood up and you would have been just fine, but not in the mental state that I was in. So
did you have a swim buoy by any chance?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, yeah. You use one now though. You use one now.
I certainly do now. I certainly do now. So after that, I really didn't, get into it, right? I was like, okay, I'll run with you all. You promised that there'd be tacos and beers afterwards. Although the miles to tacos ratio started creeping up more and more, and we did a couple virtual half marathons.
Wow.
And then lo and behold, we decided to do the Pumpkin Man 2021 together. And I got it done. It was really, really tough because I was very new to biking. I was on the loaner bike that came with Slim, and it was a struggle. I think I must have trained biking maybe like 6 times.
Tell me, what kind of bike was that? Your first bike, your first triathlon bike? Was it a road bike?
Oh, yeah, it is a road bike. It is a road bike. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go down and take a look. So it was just a road bike that they were no longer using. Let me train on it. Let me practice on it. So yeah, I muscled my way through that one. I don't really know how to swim. So I had to teach myself how to swim maybe about 3 months prior to that. And I still can't do freestyle. I can only do the breaststroke. And so, Bob, I think you saw me on the Las Vegas Tri, struggling to keep up with you on the breaststroke and muscle my way through that one. But yeah, so that very first practice triathlon, not so great. And then the Pumpkin Man one, it was really, really tough. The hill, I think I quit my friends maybe like 3 or 4 times on that hill. I was like, I don't like these people. They're horrible. Why would they ever do this to me? This is awful. But then finished and had some fun, and we just kind of kept training and kept running. And then all of a sudden, our one friend, she had a long time goal of doing an Ironman. So she's like, hi, I just signed up for the Ironman. And me and the other friend, we're a little bit older. So we're like, oh, that's great. Little Miss 30 something, that you're going to be doing that. But we decided that we were going to back her up. And we followed her training plan and just did a lot of the training with her. And that's actually how I got to meet some of the folks. Yeah, so we were out training at the lake, and that's where I think I met Laura and Leanne. They were there, and so we found some like-minded individuals. But for the longest time, we were just really kind of supporting our friend to make sure that with all these training hours and things like that, they weren't lonely hours and all that. So we went out to St. George, full Ironman. She did it. She crushed it. Yeah, and that was her first full Ironman, first half Ironman, first Olympic distance triathlon. So and then
wait, what do you? That was her. She went from a sprint to a full Ironman.
Yeah, she did. So apparently my friends make bad decisions too. So I'm not alone.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? She got it done. So I went out there. We supported it, hung out with the family, but it was the cheerleading squad, and just general support crew. And the energy at that event was just amazing. It was something I just haven't experienced before. And I was like, all right, this is really, really cool. Now, the benefits with spending so much time doing all of her training and everything like that is just started getting kind of good at it myself. Nowhere near that level that she was at, but it's like, all right, I might be able to do this. So about a month after she completed that is when I signed up for the Las Vegas Tri and the Pumpkin Man for this year. Yep. And I went ahead, I was like, you know what, I think I can do the Olympic on this Las Vegas Tri because it's not that monster hill. You know, I was still
the hills on the Olympic Las Vegas Tri course are no joke either. You know that.
Yeah, that one toward the end. Yeah. Again, I was like,
the short, steep 8%er. Yes.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was no joke. I mean, I'm sure I was crying a little bit. But the nice thing is about triathlon is you're a little bit by yourself. So if you are sitting there crying, and no one's gonna see you, they're probably crying too. So this is it works.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fun.
It was a fun event.
Well, I love this, and I love the story of this group of friends doing these things together, or one takes on a challenge and then the others, sort of go along, and before you know it, you find yourself doing the same thing. And so you call that, bad decisions, but I think that's great to surround yourself with a community that of like-minded folks, and you just have this sort of confidence of taking on these events. But I want to back up and hear a little bit more of this grassroots triathlon, and I really appreciate you sharing the swim anxiety issue, because that is a real phenomenon.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Maybe we take a step back, even before you did the grassroots triathlon, what did you do to even prepare for the open water swim, or was there any preparation for that?
There really wasn't any preparation for that.
Had you been swimming in a pool?
Maybe one or two times.
Oh my goodness.
It was very much an impromptu thing. Again, it's bad decisions, more
jump in the fire kind of,
more get than brains, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Jump in the fire kind of person. I love that you just take the challenge on.
And you got it done. You jumped in, you adjusted, turned around, went back, figured out, I got some stuff to work on. I mean, it's the whole thing is learning. So it's like, and it sounds like you're real intelligent and that you learn quick.
Yeah.
I learned quick. I will say this. I mean, when I went out there, half of you sitting there saying, "Oh, you can push it, you can do it," and I'm like, "Nope, this isn't safe." And so I went back. Yeah, and it was just the whole thing. The wetsuit, probably wasn't the right size. The cap and all that stuff. It really kind of brought about this sense of claustrophobia.
Yeah, that's normal, and that's common. It squeezes you.
Yeah, and you feel like you can't move.
And you feel like you can't breathe sometimes.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it wasn't exhaustion that kicked in. It was just that fear and that anxiety.
Yeah.
So I guess the number one thing I would say to anyone is always have a swim buoy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, thank you.
Don't do it by yourself. So
I love this. That's great advice. And again, thank you for sharing that and being open with that. But what did you do since then to your first race to where, and maybe give us a sort of an update of where you're at with the swimming? Do you feel confident at this stage and ready to go at a race, or what have you done and how you feel?
Okay. Yeah. So the training that I was doing since that race and since that first Pumpkin Man, the training actually did pick up. And again, I was following my friend's training plan, just trying to keep her company and keep her, just amped up and, keep the spirits up so we can keep going. And so she would have swim training days or running days or biking days. And so I would go to the pool, sometimes by myself, sometimes with her. And then I would just try to practice the swimming drills to the best of my ability. The freestyle stuff, I don't have down. I still can't do it. I do maybe about 50 to 100 yards and I'm gassed. But then what I started doing was like, okay, let's focus on what you do know. And so I just try to perfect, or not perfect, but just get better at the breaststroke, and just get it to where I can do it for a respectable distance and a respectable speed. And so I got to the point where I can do the breaststroke for maybe about 1.5 miles. And even at that point, I'm not fatigued, you know, so I'm like, okay, I can still
That's
do this.
huge.
Yeah. And so I felt like, okay, I'm going to get in the water. I am not going to die. And we did do some open water training, you know, before the events and things of that nature. So the breaststroke has definitely improved. I know I can get through that. Now for next year, it really is going to be focusing on that clean, smooth, efficient freestyle, the one that doesn't really take all that energy. And so,
I'm so glad you went there. You know, with that,
so,
it's like you don't need more strength, power, and everything. And you have picked up. That's a tremendous point that you're making. It's like you just want to be relaxed and efficient and smooth. Well, you're way ahead.
You watch some of the videos of the people that do it really good, and they're going really fast. And sure, maybe they're not like the, you know, Olympic record holders. Some of them are, but when you watch them and they're cruising at speeds that you're like, okay, that is very, very fast, and it looks smooth, looks
effortless.
easy. Yeah, and it's like, wow, you know, they got across, you know, that and maybe like 6 strokes, and it takes me 20. It's like, okay, it's not my strength, it's my technique that's off. So that's going to be my big.
You are way ahead of the game, realizing that. So you're going to be fine.
I hope so. I hope so. Execution is a big part, though. So we'll see.
And just to throw a little plug out there, we got some really good swim coaches in the club. And if you just get, you know, I got to give a plug. Is it okay, John?
Yeah.
Nancy Jones. If you get Nancy Jones to look at you for one session, she's going to make you twice as fast, relaxed, balanced, you know, in the water, legs come up. So yeah, or yeah, Dax is a great swim coach. There are Devaney McCary isn't doing it anymore. Mel has a group in the morning, Melody Cronenberg, and she's a wonderful coach. So there are a lot of good coaches. So just get them to look at you, and it's funny, they could just tweak you, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I didn't realize I was doing that wrong.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. And, you know, when we signed up for the club, you know, we didn't get too involved with some of the activities and things like that, because it was really kind of focusing in on training for that St. George event. Really trying not to deviate from the training plan and stick to it, and all focus and energy, you know, of our workouts. It was like, okay, we are going to help our friend get through this, and that's it. That's like laser focusing on that. But now that we're there, and now it's like we're kind of doing our own events, doing our own training. It's like, all right, it's going to be fun to get more engaged with y'all's group and take advantage of some of the things you all put together.
Now, what a noble start, though. That's really impressive. And you got started by helping somebody else get started, and that's like the core of the club, is people helping each other. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love this, and you know, Brian, what I also liked that you said is that, you know, when looking at your swim, you said let's focus on what you do know, and again, that's really a great thing for people to hear. And to do breaststroke, that's fine, because a lot of people think you have to do cross stroke, and you don't need to do that. So that's really good. So let's talk about the bike then. So what were you doing for the bike then when you started, and what are you doing now or as you go forward?
Okay, so when I first started, I had the one bike, and I rode it a couple of times, and I know nothing about bikes. I haven't fully embraced bike culture quite yet. I don't have real pedals. I struggle a bit with the outfits, and the clicky shoes. When you kind of walk into the coffee shop, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I'm not ready for that. But so I did a couple rides. I think it really was only 6 rides before that first Pumpkin Man, and I paid for it, because that was really tough. That first race, I walked my bike up a lot of that hill, but I'm still able to finish it, whatnot. But there was a lot of walking involved. Recently, I would say after the St. George piece, Yeah, we used to, well, I'm going to do the shameless plug for Pedal and Pour. I don't know if anyone goes there, but we used to go there quite a bit. And I saw a bike that I've been having my eye on for a long time. And it was a VMC Time Stop 2. And I liked it. I was drawn to it. And I didn't do one of those things that maybe I should have done where you ride 100 different bikes and find out the one that's right for you. It was reasonably priced for like a carbon bike, you know, and I got it. And what you know, like a huge difference that a good bike makes. I still don't have the pedals. I believe someone kind of made fun of my little picture. They're like, yeah, we can tell you don't take it seriously by the look of your pedals. And I was like, that was a very respectable burn. I was like, oh, well done, sir. Well done. You know, because I just have the little cages that you put your sneakers in, stuff like that. But since then, you know, I've actually been doing distance rides where you're doing it in like a nice steady state zone 2, maybe for like an hour or something along those lines, and just kind of cruising, just trying to maintain. And then other bike rides would be a little bit more intervals. It's like, okay, get the heart rate up to like Z4, Z5 for about like, you know, 5-10 minutes, bring it down, do it again. And just that combination of long, steady endurance and then short interval trainings. And that's, again, that was from the coach who provided my friend with her training plan that helped her pass the Ironman. So it's been working really good for me.
Sounds like you're learning. I do have a question on your heart though. Have you been following that and monitoring that? You have a cardiologist?
Yeah.
Because so, I mean, you don't want to stress that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I made a good decision in that regard. But like before I really got into it, I went to the doctor and said, hey, I have this particular thing. I want to get it checked out. You know, I do have some heart disease in the family, which is also kind of, you know, fuels my my fitness drive a little bit. Yeah, my father had a quintuple bypass at like 55. So I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of time, but not enough time to ignore it. Right. So I went to the doctor, had him check everything out, and he, you know, gave me, you know, a clean bill of health. He said, you can do these things. All your levels look good. There's no plaque buildup. And once I had that, I was like, okay, I'm good. I can do this.
Wonderful.
I love that. And you know, it is so smart regarding your health, and to have that foresight to have it checked out, because then you have the confidence that you can do some of the things that you want to do. And so that again, great message for people to hear. But I want to go back to the bike, and I'm going to say you don't need all that stuff. So I love it with the pedals. In fact, I had a student do her thesis on flat bottom pedals versus clip-in pedals. And so believe it or not, it's actually not that different. So there's nothing wrong with flat bottom pedals. And when you want to use the clip-in pedals, you know, you'll be ready to do that, but nothing wrong with it. And so I love hearing this story of using flat bottom pedals and the cages. That's classic stuff. So that's good.
And it takes that 90 seconds off of the transition time too, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Especially in sprints.
Yeah. So no, keep going down that path, and I love it because it seems like it. You know, you've just got this neat confidence about how you're going about it, and that's really exciting. So continue to enjoy that aspect. Okay, so now we're on the last leg.
Okay.
The run. What you were doing in the beginning and what are you doing now on the run?
Yeah, so even though I did some of those Wagners, I would never say I was a good runner. No. I would probably have like an average pace, maybe about like 13-minute mile.
Yeah.
So even for like a 5K. And so now I have done like sub 30 5Ks, which I mean isn't record speed, but it's good for, you know, it's good for someone like me. The runs weren't too bad. The only things I kind of struggled a little bit with on the Olympic was after that long bike ride, you know, I started cramping up. And that's one of the other areas where it's like my knowledge or lack thereof plays against me is I was not very good with nutrition. My friends were constantly saying, hey, you need to eat. And I was like, oh gosh, if I eat while I'm running, things just kind of go south. And it's very uncomfortable. And so I avoided it for a long time. But preparing for these events, you know, I finally listened to them and I started trying like an applesauce. or a gel pack, or one of those Morton things that you put in the water, just to give you some, calories and potassium. So it helped. It made a huge difference. So, those of you who are still struggling with nutrition, you're going to have to start experimenting, because you can't do it without it.
But, what I really love about what you're saying is that you are figuring out on the fly what it is you need to learn. And I mean, that is so cool. And that's, you're going about it all right, the right ways. So,
I try to learn.
Congratulations.
No, I appreciate it. I definitely try to learn. But, when I was doing that last leg on the Las Vegas try, I started cramping up, and I was like, and so I would say that that definitely put a hitch in my giddy up. And I think it cost me the podium.
No.
Yeah. So I came in fourth in my age group. Well, I think technically there was a few people that finished faster than I did, but because they got like first or second place overall, they got pulled out of my age group. So I was like, I got bumped up a little bit. But had I not cramped up, I probably would have had it. And I was like, So
hey, that's still to come in fourth in your second triathlon in your first Olympic is huge accomplishment, man.
I was pretty happy, and so you can tell by all my cheesy pictures on Instagram, Facebook. I was being a doofin and just enjoying it.
That's great. No, I love it. And yeah, that's right. And the enjoyment is real and genuine, and share it and soak it up, because it is a lot of fun. And training and racing in Vegas, it's one of the hardest places anywhere to do. And we always say, if you can train in Vegas, you can race anywhere. So what do you have going into the rest of 2022, and what's 2023 looking like?
So I don't really have too much going on for 2022. I'm still doing some of the practicing. I'm going to focus a bit on the swimming. I'm going to probably just do some strength training, and that is definitely something I think endurance athletes really don't want to ever lose sight of. It's great that you get out there and you keep doing long rides and long rides and long rides, but you're eventually going to have to do some squats and kind of build some muscle if you want to get to that next level. So I'm going to focus on that probably for the rest of the year and the beginning of next year. In 2023, I've already signed up for Rage.
Nice.
The Las Vegas Triathlon again. I'm still on the fence about Pumpkin Man. It's Pumpkin Man and I. It's like we're not seeing eye to eye.
Brian, what I'm hearing though is you're running. You've got you can go forever, and you've got a smooth run pace, and you can swim 1.5 miles even with breaststroke. That's amazing. So it's sounds like you got some 70.3s in your future too. You got them on your sites?
I signed up for the Salem half Ironman.
Oh, that is such a cool race. Yeah.
So
you're gonna love it.
I'm looking forward to it. Of the three friends I initially started with, the guy he moved there to Oregon to be with his family and start a new life journey there. And we're like, okay, if we find a race that's right by your house, will you join it? So we're gonna Salem.
Awesome. Hey, John, can I steal one of your questions?
Sure, go for it.
Brian, whenever you crossed the finish line for your first time at when you did the Las Vegas try on your first time and you crossed the finish line, what did that feel like? How was it?
Oh, okay. That one was amazing. So what I love about the triathlon sport is it's not really a team sport, right? It really is you. It is what you put in there. It's what game you bring to the table. You don't have a team that can hold you back. You don't have a team that you can rely on. There's support, and that's I don't want to ever lose sight of that. There's people, and it's not a lonely sport. But everything that every accomplishment you have is based on what you put in. And so I had a goal, and I wanted to hit under 4 hours for my first Olympic. And then, we found out about that bonus mile, and I was like, oh man, so for those of you who don't know, they somehow said, well, the lake is further away now. we're gonna add, you have a mile after you swim to get to your bike. And I was like, okay, so that's gonna add on an additional 10 minutes. So I'm thinking my 4-hour mark is gone. It's like there's no way I can make up that extra 8 to 12 minutes or whatnot. And when I crossed, even with cramping and all that, and I was sub 4.
Oh.
That was so amazing. I was so happy. It was just
That's
like
wonderful.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those things where you don't necessarily win the game, but if you had the goal, and if it's a time goal, or if it's I just want to finish, and you do it, that's all you did that.
That's right.
You had friends and support and stuff along the way, but when it came down to it, that was all you, and that's a great feeling.
I
Isn't
love
it though?
it, Brian. What a great message for people to hear. And in this 30 minutes, boy, I tell you, you actually gave a number of great gems there, and this being one that is perfect to sort of wrap up on. I just see the enjoyment, I hear the enjoyment, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch what you're going to accomplish in 2023. And the Salem will be a lot of fun, and the training going along. I think you and Slim are going to really enjoy that part too.
You do realize that Salem's a downriver swim, right?
Yes.
And you can
Does that mean the
breaststroke that.
swimming
You
is
can
downhill?
breaststroke that in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But now I will say for the 73, my goal for the 73 is to have freestyle down and a nice smooth motion, because
That's great.
all right, I think breaststroke would kind of wear me out a little
Great
bit.
goal.
Yeah.
No,
Brian,
absolutely.
this has been so much fun to hear your story and hear you get into the sport. And this, like I said, this is just going to be a lot of fun to see, to really see where 2023 goes. So, and be sure to pencil in our tri-club races too. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting more involved with y'all's group and just kind of
Awesome.
participating in some of the events and some of the
Wonderful.
drills and being part of the group.
It's great.
Wonderful.
Well, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Good having you.